What's up everyone, how's it going? Justin here, back again to bring you all another World of Warcraft video covering the well-known and tragic story of a valiant warrior who inevitably became consumed by his own unbridled fury. This warrior's name is Mankrik, a level 15 orc quest giver located at the crossroads in the Barrens. Now, the story of Mankrik is a pretty damn short one, but don't get it confused because even though it is short, it is actually one of the most popular stories in World of Warcraft, known by most if not all Horde players, from the noobs who just entered the Barrens to the sexual lore addicts, and even making its presence known to the trolls. I mean, seriously, back in the day, if you had your left foot, not even your right foot, but your left foot cross over the border from Durotar into the Barrens, you would immediately see your chat box flooded with AIDS, Chuck Norris, death threats, and of course, questions regarding Mankrik's wife. There are even t-shirts that you can find online about Mankrik's wife, which is pretty nuts, but let's go ahead and go on to the story. So Mankrik and his wife Olgra battled side by side valiantly together against the Quilboars, a humanoid race of sadistic warriors that were extremely hostile and highly aggressive, and actually for very good reason, but that is a story for another video. Nonetheless, the Quilboar were hated by the races that have had the misfortune of bearing the burdens of their presence, mainly the Tauren, Orcs, and Centaur, because they were constantly suffering from attacks by the pigmen. Whether it be on patrol or through caravan trade routes, no one was safe so long as the Quilboar were running rampant and about. Now, there are a couple theories as to what happened to Mankrik prior to him giving you the quest to find his wife. The first speculation is that his wife Olgra and him were on a route traveling to the crossroads after their homes were razed by the Quilboar, but before they were ambushed by the pigmen. Although the two orcs fought side by side, holding their own and slaughtering waves and waves of Quilboar, they were eventually over-encumbered by their endless numbers. Mankrik states to the player that before he blacked out, he saw his wife battling 3 or more Quilboar by herself while he led the remaining soldiers away from her so that she could have a better chance of fighting on her own. Unfortunately though, even with the orcs' blood rage fueling their bodies, they stood little chance against the pigmen just simply because they were so heavily outnumbered. After this, Mankrik awoke from being almost killed and found a Tauren druid healing his wounds. Now, in the second speculation, it is believed that Mankrik and Olgra ventured into the Barrens to hunt for these creatures because they simply just hated the sight, stench, and thought of these pigmen settling in the same zone as they were in. Then the same events transpired and Mankrik blacks out only to regain consciousness when the Tauren druid mends his wounds. Now, I personally like the first theory more because the second speculation seems to have quite a bit of a lot of plot holes. First of all, yes, orcs are bloodthirsty, and more than a handful of them, if not all of them, would love nothing more than to die on the battlefield with their honor intact. But I don't think Olgra and Mankrik had a death wish at the time, which wouldn't make sense for them to hunt down the Quilboar alone with just the two of them without any reinforcements, because that's just plain reckless. Second of all, in the quest Consumed by Hatred, Mankrik states that perhaps instead of heading north to the crossroads, I should have headed to Taraho, which implies that he and his wife were trying to head to the crossroads as stated in the first theory, rather than just roaming the Barrens trying to find a pig to kill. Finally, the very fact that Mankrik seeks out the player and gives him a quest to find his wife is proof that he loved her very much and cared about what exactly happened to her after he blacked out and wasn't able to help her out. If he and her had a death wish, I don't believe that he would go out of his way to ask a player to find out what happened to his wife. Instead, he more than likely would have said, ah, fuck it, she ain't here right now with me, so that means she probably went out on the battlefield with her pride and honor intact, so good on her, but sucks on me because I'm still alive, so I gotta go get myself killed. Now, after you talk to Mankrik, he gives you 2 quests. One quest is where you try to find his wife and bring her back to him, and the second one is called Consumed by Hatred, where you see Mankrik's dark side. Kill them. Kill as many as you can. Bring me their tusks, and we will celebrate their deaths together. The player brings back some tusks and tells Mankrik about his deceased wife. The orc then accepts the tragic fate that has befallen his wife and manages to recover her corpse, which he later then buries. In honor of her memory, he then erects a humble monument located in the Groldum farm as tribute to her selfless sacrifice. However, Mankrik's desire for vengeance seemed even higher by the day, and he began killing every Quilboar that he has seen since the death of his wife. Still not satisfied with the continuous slaughter of the pigmen, however, he later then traveled to the southern Barrens where he realized that there truly will be no peace without his wife, and where he then gave into his unending bloodlust and hatred.